What's up, everybody? Welcome to Extra Cheese here on a Saturday evening, rounding up to 6 o'clock. And the news breaking a little while ago, I first saw it reported by Rob Domofsky. Your mileage may vary. That the Packers will indeed be hiring Joe Barry to be their defensive coordinator, a guy who's had some experience as a DC, both in Detroit and Washington. That will be the topic of much conversation, I would suspect, throughout the week and the year to come. Uh, Not a lot of success during those stops. The news earlier this morning, breaking from Otzi, that Jim Leonard was offered the job, a guy we've talked about here on Cheesehead TV all week. Um, Apparently, the job was offered, and Jim Leonard turned them down, which is unusual in Green Bay. It's hard to think of too many times that anyone has been offered any kind of job for the Green Bay Packers and turned it down. But Joe Barry is the pick. It's an interesting selection, without question, to move on from a guy, Mike Pettine, who clearly there wasn't very much of a fit there between LaFleur and Pettine, and to move on to Barry, who obviously has been on staff with LaFleur in the past. They have a relationship, so there's got to be a comfort level there that LaFleur is jumping on board with. Before we get going, I've got a lot of people in the comments already, obviously. I'll get to your super chats and everything, but let me just say this. I understand and have said all week that it was about a personality fit. Clearly, that is playing out here in LaFleur's selection. I do find it interesting this day and age when so much is made about the hiring process and the makeup of those that get hired. This coordinator, this former coordinator, who twice has flamed out in different spots, gets yet now a third opportunity to see what he can do, while other candidates won't get a chance. It's always interesting. Um, that said, we will see what he does with the talent on hand. There's a lot of talent to work with. No question about it. He's got a premier corner. He's got one of the best D tackles in the game. He's got some edge rushers to work with, um, and a really talented safety group. You obviously have some things you've got to, add and massage slash depth wise, but it's not like the cupboard is bare, and he will be judged accordingly. It's not like he's there to build something. He's there to build on something that was pretty successful. Now, obviously, at times frustrating. Anybody who's watched Cheesehead TV for any length of time knows the frustrations built in with the way the defense was run. Maybe that was part of the conversation between LaFleur and Barry. We'll see how it plays out. It will be very interesting to hear from Matt LaFleur whenever we speak with him next about the selection process, offering it to someone, having it turned down, and then turning around and giving it to Barry. So, with that said, let me get to your super chats before they all disappear. Weston, so a top 10 defense to a bottom 30 defense, LOL. They have nothing to do with each other. His work at those previous two stops were not with this defensive group. So that's a pretty silly comparison to make. What else we got? Sorry, guys. I don't want to miss anything. Kyle, thank you for the super chat. What can we expect from Barry, not Perry? All the best, dude. Thanks, Kyle. Well, he's been now with a really good defensive group and or coaching staff for a number of years there in LA with the Rams. Um, Clearly, I got to think he's probably going to utilize some of what um, the Rams did, kind of out of the mold that uh, the kind of cover two shell look that can morph into a lot of different things post snap. Very much the Vic Fangio mold is what I would suspect you're going to see. Now, that's not a strict correlation there. Who knows? Maybe he and Matt have talked about some kind of hybrid scheme or taking the scheme in another direction. Those are all conversations that are going to be had, no doubt. But I would suspect you'll see a bit of the Fangio model there. A great hire based on what, though? I don't think anybody said it's a great hire. That's something to remember here. Unlike most outlets, you'll get lots of people talking about, oh, this is a great hire, or this is a terrible hire. I think you'll hear a lot more of the latter than the former. Very much in the You got to let it play out. It's a decision. Matt's made it. I am a bit mystified as to the entire process and the selection of Barry, but my opinion really doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. I'm not the one making those decisions or in those conversations. I have no idea the selection criteria. As Matt said, didn't want to put it out there publicly and give people answers to the test, so to speak. Um, I totally get fans that feel underwhelmed. I absolutely 1000% understand that. And it is frustrating having to let it play out to see if it's the correct choice or not. But that, as fans, is literally all we can do. Oh, I know there are people out there who know that my Twitter feed apparently holds sway over the Packers, i.e., I alone and my Twitter feed allowed Ted Thompson to stay around too long. So I know that I'm not going to bash this hire is going to be held against me forever, which is fine, but it's just kind of funny. Justin, thanks for the super chat. Unpopular opinion. I'm glad we didn't hire Leonard. I understand that thinking as well. Anybody who's caught Packers daily each and every morning this past week knows I talked all week. That's a big jump, man. I'm not sold that that would have been an easy transition for him. And I don't think that that means he can't be a successful NFL coach. I think he probably can be or could be if he ever decides to make the jump to the NFL coaching level. But, yeah, don't think it was some slam dunk. And I do find it kind of funny that, a Pettine disciple was offered the job first. Cameron, thank you for the super chat. I think with how much talent we have on defense, I just want a defensive coordinator who won't mess up and just put our guys in the right spots. I agree with that, Cameron. I don't know if you saw the clip that Tyler put out on the Cheesehead TV Twitter page from Joe Barry over there in LA, literally preaching basically what we just spent all year being frustrated about when it came to Mike Pettine during a practice. I got to think this is probably from Hard Knocks. He's saying, it's 3rd and 11. You allow that 6-yard, you allow 6-yard completion. You tackle him short of the sticks. That's a win. Great, awesome. Can't wait for more of that because that's literally been the MO under Mike Pettine. It doesn't feel like much of a philosophy change, but it's just one clip from a practice. I know it's not an overarching manifesto of how he's going to call games. I understand that. It's just kind of funny. Marco, thanks for the super chat. Not excited about his resume, but he's a Packer now. Let's get on board. Go Pack, go. That is a perfect super chat. That is absolutely perfect. And that completely captures how I'm feeling right now. Not really excited. Not a lot there to get excited about. But now he's in the green and gold. He's our guy. Go Pack, go. How hard is that? Well stated. I wanted Jeff Fisher. Yikes. Whoo, baby. All right, make sure I didn't miss any super chats. People get so upset. Hope we see more Fangio than Pettine from Barry. I agree there. I like that idea. When we hear from LaFleur, good question, Screaming Leaf. Not quite sure. I mean, obviously, not tomorrow, Super Bowl Sunday. I would think early in the week, potentially. We'll see when the Packers officially announce it. But I would suspect, Monday, Tuesday? Hopefully, maybe late in the. I don't know. I mean, they've drawn this out pretty well so far. So I would suspect within the week, though. Hopefully. As long as he is aggressive, I'm all in. New York Finest. I was joking about that with LaFleur last week and the presser. I don't know if you saw it, but you got to expect we're going to hear the word aggressive at least once in the introductory press conference. Can't wait. Mannion, I wasn't excited about Hackett. Look at him now. I understand that. Although with Hackett, I saw at least some success on that resume. That guy took Blake Bortles to an AFC championship game. I don't see any kind of track record like that with Barry. And that's just surface stuff. I know. Doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. But with Hackett, I was excited when they hired Hackett because I thought everywhere he'd gone, they'd had a really successful run game. And I thought he called plays really well in that run they took to the AFC championship game. And I was pretty clear that he got scapegoated by Marone. Barry, though, baby, that stint in Detroit, that was tough. That stint in Washington, yikes. Now, I know the talent levels are not comparable. I understand it's a very different environment, very different situations, but there ain't a whole lot there to engender a lot of confidence. Nothing wrong with saying that. I don't think anyway. What else we got? Eric, thanks for the super chat. As you mentioned a couple days ago, how does Green Bay streamline the defense but without becoming predictable during games? I think that's a big part of it. And I do think if they do lean into the Fangio stuff, there is the possibility is there that because of a lot of what the Rams like to do, and now again, we have no idea what he's going to want to run or try to run, but a lot of their success was based off of having similar looks pre-snap and then changing coverages or presenting coverages after the snap that um, were different down to down or were tried to kind of play with the quarterback a little bit. And that would suggest or kind of probably lend itself to not having as much in and out personnel wise. Now, in the NFL today, you're always going to have subs. You're always going to have, you know, be in sub packages, etc. I just think with Pettine, it had gotten a little overboard, but we'll see what he says about his philosophy in that regard. I didn't see anything on Packers.com because it has not been announced by the team yet. It will be, though, shortly. Both Domofsky and Pelissero have reported it, which means you can lock it up. Cody, thanks for the super chat. One positive outlook here is that he has been a linebackers coach throughout his career, and for the first time in a while, Packers have some young, intriguing guys in that room, Barnes and Kamal. Hopefully, he can help them grow. Very much agreed with that aspect of it, Cody. I think he has been a pretty decent position coach by all accounts. Now, we'll see how much hands-on stuff he works with. You know, once you're at the coordinator level, it's not like you're in the inside linebacker meeting rooms on a daily basis. Now, there's clearly going to be times where he's going to be telling them what he wants in certain calls and techniques he wants played, etc. But yes, that is something to look at and be hopeful for, no doubt about it. What else we got here? Don Vito 591. Thank you for the super chat. What impact does this have on strategy for drafting defensive players, if any? Not a huge one, I don't think. I actually, asked Gutekunst about that specifically last week. I think they really, trust their board and trust the guys they have already in house. Obviously, their ability to be flexible and or play multiple kind of roles is something that they feel they have a lot of. Depending on the scheme. Now, again, we don't know what he's going to be running, what he's going to be bringing in as far as what emphasis he has. But I think the needs were going to be the needs regardless of who got hired. I think they need help at corner, they need help up front, and that's not going to change regardless of whatever scheme they're going to run. That's just my thing. Roger says, I changed my mind. I want the hell out of Green Bay. Mark. That's pretty funny. If Jerry Gray leaves, the wheels are falling off. That doesn't mean any such thing. How does everyone know it's a, quote, terrible hire? You are all lame. Well, M. Peter Board 84. I'm certainly not calling it a terrible hire. I'm saying you have to let it play out. But I know there are plenty of people on the internet at twitter.com, which is where you're residing, that are probably in that boat. And you can safely ignore all of them. I kick ass 44. What's up, buddy? Thanks for the super chat. I wasn't pumped by LaFleur or Hackett signing, so I'm hoping for the best. Although, wish they would have given someone new and not white a chance. That's pretty much what I was intimating earlier. It's interesting that the white kid who's been a failure twice at the job keeps getting another chance in this day and age of we wring our hands. It's just always interesting, that media hiring cycle happens and the media tries to point it out. NFL Network does stuff on it. ESPN does stuff about it. It gets talked about a lot on Twitter. But of course, NFL owners, NFL decision makers, not paying attention. And they don't care. I mean, I think that's abundantly clear now. The white guy who's failed twice at the job gets another chance. Meanwhile, there's lots of young, up and coming coaches, know all the X's and O's, know everything there is about defensive football, can't get their first crack at it. It's always interesting. Frank, thanks for the super chat. Is it telling that none of the interviewers blew the socks off of LaFleur? Is the hire more of a fact that Joe Barry is a big fish in a small pond? Well, I don't know if none of the interviewers blew his socks off. Maybe Jim Leonard did. I know. There's been reporting about like second interviews and guys who dropped out or guys who maybe thought they were in it and weren't. Blah blah blah. You got to remember this is part and parcel with tracking this stuff in real time. I remember this morning when it looked like Jim Leonard had said no, and then it was like, oh, it's clearly going to be. Wait a second, why is it Barry? Um, we don't know what the thinking is, and we don't know who did what in the interviews. And I know there's narratives that get formed a lot of times because, and this is true, agents are pushing things and names and trying to get stuff out there. That's not necessarily the totality of the story. Just remember that as you're following along in real time. There's always a reason we know the information we know. Leonard led the Packers on. I mean, I understand taking the interview, having the second interview even. But man, it sure feels like the Packers got played a little bit. Like it's a great recruiting tool for Leonard. It's a great way for the Badgers to say, "Hey, our guy is, the NFL wants him. Come play for him." I don't know. It does feel like that a little bit, though. You're right. Zadarius wanted things simplified, got his way, and then they were much better. This new guy better not go backwards in this regard. Well, that's Gary. Is a little bit what we were talking about earlier, as far as the at least the streamlining of all of the substitutions, the in and outs, blah blah blah. Hopefully, I'm with you, man. I hope that sticks. Hmm. I love that engaged guys are already to move on. Yeah, we hired a DC. Let's move on to the next step of the offseason. Who are we keeping? Who are we letting go? Well, we got to figure out what the salary cap is yet. First, we still don't know. Let's get that locked in. You want to talk about next steps? That's the next step. Can't be making decisions until you know what the salary cap is. And we're probably not going to know that until like probably maybe just before the start of the new league year. And we'll see. People overthinking the coordinator position, players, not plays. I think there's some truth to that, Matt. No doubt about it. Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's. I will say, however, one of the main frustrations with the previous defensive coordinator was his situational awareness or lack thereof. And, I don't begrudge fans for, uh, wanting an improvement in the areas where this defense was weak. I don't think that, with this, which with a lot of what will be the same personnel. I don't think that's crazy. Are we cutting Lowry this offseason? Nice. I doubt it. I think there's a good chance they restructure him, but I don't think an outright. Now, if they approach him about a restructure and he says no, then there's a good chance they cut him. But one step at a time. Robin, what's up, buddy? I know the first two stints for Barry were not ideal. I hope he learned something in LA the past few years and can bring it to Green Bay. Go, Pack, go. Gabriel, that is a completely 1000% valid reaction to the hire. Chris East, thanks for the super chat. Finally made a live chat. Keep up the good work, Nagler. Thanks very much. Very nice of you. All right, I think that's the super chats that I need. Inside linebacker getting drafted in round 1. Book it. Not so sure I agree with your police work there, Daniel, but we'll see. Steelers are interested in Aaron Jones. I mean, take all of those reports with a grain of salt. What was this, 2006? Where are we? Could we tag Aaron Jones? Whew. I highly doubt it. That'd be very prohibitive, especially with the cap going down. I would be absolutely shocked if they went that route. John, thank you for the super chat. As long as I don't see another 3-man rush or single high safety on 3rd and long, I'm good. Go Pack, go. Well, John, I think you were probably good on that second part. The first part, man, I'm with you. You know me and my absolute hatred, my burning hatred for all 3-man rushes. I can't say that they'll be a thing of the past, though. We'll see. Sean, thanks for the super chat. Everybody panic. Just kidding. Go Pack, go. Uh, Danny, yeah, absolutely. Can't we redo contracts to get the cap in line? Yeah, 1,000%. They're going to have to. Are you kidding me? 1,000,000,000%. Like I think they're projected, depending on which cap projection we're going by, they're roughly $30 million over the cap, or going to be. They have to make a bunch of adjustments, no question about it. Do you think the relationship between McVay and LaFleur had anything to do with the Joe Barry hire? I guess it's a possibility. You know, he's obviously been in that building. LaFleur and he worked together, and now he's been with McVay for a while. I would tend to doubt it had a big effect, but I gotta think they talked about it. Matt has mentioned many times how they talk all the time. They're good friends, blah blah blah. I got to imagine the conversation has been had, but I don't think it's close to being the driving factor, so to speak. Okay, I'll take one or two more here. J.K. Scott, worst punter this year in the NFL. Well, G. Joel, bringing up happy subjects here. I mean, he's going to have a competition, I would think, no doubt about it. I don't think Goot has the team's best interest. What? Did you type that into, like, on purpose? You guys, that's hilarious. Is Kevin King gone? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kevin King is gone. Do you think Wentz to the Bears would be a good fit? I think it'd be a hilarious fit, Danny. Please, I hope it happens. I don't think it's going to, but I would die laughing. Can I hear your opinion on what Drew Brees is doing with his contract? He's helping them, basically. He's opening up a bunch of cap room for them with the adjustment that he made today. And then he'll drop his retirement announcement in the coming weeks. He's basically helping them sign people and get people under contract. What is Barry known for? His number one thing, probably in the history of the league, is the quip that a Detroit reporter made to who was it? What was his name? Now it's totally blanking, because he was married or is married to the daughter of Rob Marinelli. That was it. And the reporter, I can't remember who the reporter was, made some quip about, do you wish your daughter had married a better defensive coordinator? And that reporter ended up never reporting on the team again and leaving the paper. But that's probably what he's best known for, sadly. That's number one. And number two is fielding two really bad defenses in Detroit and Washington. Good luck. Just keeping it real. All right, buddy. I'm gonna have to get going. My daughters are here, and they're being really nice, letting me chat with y'all. But I want to spend some time with them, as much as I love you all. Matt, last one. Thanks for the super chat. Are any of the defensive assistants under contract? Will the Packers keep them? I would think most of them are probably under contract, and we'll see. I do know they are losing. Who is it? I don't want to get his name wrong. They're losing a quality control guy. Christian. Christian Parker is going to the Broncos, I believe. But everybody else, I believe, is under contract and should be back. And I know there's been some speculation about Barry. Would he demand to go? Yeah, if he doesn't get the job. I don't think that's going to play out, but you never know. We'll see. How can you live with Barry? I can't wait. It's going to be great. Oh, all right, guys. I love you. Have a great night. Be safe on these Twitter streets. Goodness knows they're going to be running with blood tonight from certain segments of Packers fandom. You can safely ignore all of that and just let it play out. Thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy the game tomorrow and be on the lookout for the official Cheesehead TV review of the halftime show with Madeline Negler. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be up here on cheeseheadtv.com sometime in the second half. In the meantime, enjoy the game and go Pack Go. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.